self, know that you got time. Fit it in the moment, know that everything is fine. And even when it ain't, and your bank is stuck on E, know it's only up from there, just watch the overdrafts and fees. Been there, still close, not rich, not broke. I'm cool, my life click, I saw this, my sight stick, my moves new, my days long. Workhorse is OT, no fake, alright life, you hear this, you know me, yeah. Accept the things you cannot change. Forgive but don't forget never. Start with trust and end with knowledge. Lay your time and come together. Accept the things you cannot change. Forgive but don't forget never. Start with trust and end with knowledge. Lay your time and come together. Note to self, know that you got time. Fit it in the moment, know that everything is fine. And even when it ain't, and your bank is stuck on E, know it's only up from there, just watch the overdrafts and fees, yeah. Forget who left and don't you overdo perception. We the word verb benders, adjectives become your weapons. It's a dog-eat-dog game, it's a shark-filled sea. It's a world of fake people, try my best to stay me, yeah. Accept the things you cannot change. Forgive but don't forget never. Start with trust and end with knowledge. Lay your time and come together. Accept the things you cannot change. Forgive but don't forget never. Start with trust and end with knowledge. Lay your time and come together. Know to self, know that you got time. Fit it in the moment, know that everything is fine. And even when it ain't, and your bank is stuck on E, know it's only up from there, just watch the overdrafts and fees. We knew, we seen, things had to change our way. It just started down in the hallway. Yo, note to self, take your time and take it in. Take your mind and take your sin. Take your mind and take your win. Note to self, accept the things you cannot change. Forgive but don't forget never. Start with trust and end with knowledge. Lay your time and come together.
Hey everybody, we're back! Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the stream. We're live tonight. We're just gonna play some chess. Hope you're all doing well. Oh man. I'm just sending some things in some Discords really quick, promoting myself. And I will get shit popping here. You're all doing well though. Here. Almost done. Hide. How does this look? Doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad. Hoping that would just squeeze in like that, but I don't think it will. Do one more thing and then we'll go. Alright, let the pub stomping begin. Oh, God. Settle in, it's gonna be a rough ride. Don't lose. Okay, I'm trying to take some reasonable requests here, Tim. If you could keep the fantastical ideas out of this chat, I'd appreciate it. What are you doing, Tim? Don't lose in 10 moves? Is that 5 on my side, 5 on their side, or 10 on my side? Oh, man. 10 on your side? That's possible. Not real, not a guarantee, but it's possible. Oh, did I already do this wrong? Was I supposed to go there? Was it supposed to be D3 or E3? You're good? Okay. Can I go E3 with the pawn? Or does that fuck up the London? Bishop first, or it's blocked. So move the bishop, then I can go pawn E3. And then the rest is up to you. I like going pawn E3 just because I like the 3-stack pawn structure, but I don't know if that's just like a comfort move. That's not a smart, like it's a waste of a move. I feel like it also, but it does. Another reason I like it is because it lets me develop my king side bishop. Not really threatening anything. For now. He's not threatening anything really. if I go bishop here, I'm not obstructing a whole lot, but I'm allowing my opportunity tonight, which is, I think, what he's setting up for as well. And I still have a lot of maneuverability. I'm not really blocking anything except for the movement of my queen. I think that's what I'm going to do. Because going here doesn't really do anything. At least with this, I'm getting more control of the board. E2 just didn't really present anything new. Versus I feel like this does. Because now I can go up this, this B diagonal line. Now I have access to that. Which is also kind of neat, because if he knights right now, or if he castles his king, now I could threaten this. I wouldn't, obviously, but I have that ability. It's a thing I can do. I feel like if I go a3 with this pawn, forcing him to make a decision with this piece, he's not gonna go for a trade. I don't think that would be dumb. So he's gonna have to fall back, which gives me a little bit more breathing room on this side. And this is the only piece he'll be able to fall back to without risking a sack. Or there. Good move. That puts a dent in my plan. I don't know if I'd call it a plan though. Let's see. I'm gonna go for it anyways. Because if I go here, assuming he doesn't take it, he knows that he's got this piece to back it up. But if I take, then I can go here. I'm gonna go for it. There's a possibility he'll try and take this piece with his knight. But I'm not too worried about it. We'll see. Okay, he did fall back. Which I'm not gonna lie, confuses me a little. If I were to go here, not in any immediate danger, but I'm also not really threatening anything. Although, if I then took here, the only piece I could counter it would be the queen. I'm gonna go for that. Rest is up to. What are you streaming with? Like what programs? What do you mean, what am I streaming with? Programs? So I'm using OBS Studio, which then reports, yeah. Streamlabs, the Streamlabs version. Oh, that's smart. You know how to crop Quigley? I'll, Prodigy X16, welcome to the chat. I don't think I've seen you before. I've gotten to 1600 in tactics, but I can't get past 1100. Yeah, I'm barely squeaking around where I'm at. I had a couple disconnects, so I think I'm probably playing it close to like a 1250 range. I haven't played any tactics, though. Tim was telling me I should. You should talk to Tim. He's the other guy in chat right now. He's really good at chess. What are you asking me to crop? Alt click the edges and drag them to smaller. I'm alt clicking. Are you asking me to display or crop my display? You're sharing your whole stream, including things like your taskbar, which seems unnecessary. But it doesn't really matter. Yeah, let me see if I can crop it. That's just my overlay. So if I do my display capture, alt click isn't. That's just changing the size. Here, after I make this move, I'll do that. So I mean, if he takes here, it's just a trade. Do I get the 9 sizing boxes? I don't. 8 sizing boxes? No. You know what I could do? Here, let's just do this. I can shrink this down even more. Son of a bitch. Just fucking go away for a second, please. How about that? Did you click on the screen first? Alright, give me 1 second. Let me sort out this conundrum. Hopefully that's better. It looks better on my screen. Looks decent like this? Okay, cool. If I go here, it's just gonna take pawn. I think that's positive though. I think that's a net positive for me. Obviously I can't take with the bishop anymore. I think that's a net positive. I'm gonna do that. It's kind of a kamikaze move. Oh, I see what you're saying. So if I click on that. And then I'll click. Oh, that's how I crop. Okay. Here, let's move it back. Yeah, he took with the pawn. I see what you're saying. I'm learning things. What a mod you are, Tim. What a mod. Oh, won't it let me crop this side? Very odd. Did I crop too much on that side? That's not letting me move anything. I mean, it'll let me move it, but it won't let me. Oh god, I already hate it. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Don't use corners, use sides? Okay. I'm gonna do this for now. We'll do it after this game. Fucking me up. Hop in a room and I can help you make a very basic chess setup. We should do that. I appreciate that. It means I'm actually gonna have to use it and take the time to get better at chess though, and that's intimidating. So it looks like it wasn't a net positive, it was just a trade. I'm just gonna develop this pawn. Yeah, we're just gonna stick with this view for now. I like because I can still, you guys can still see the timer, you can see their elo. Obviously chat's not there, but that's fine. Also, you don't really need to see the game mode because it's clear just by time alone what mode we're playing. This is fine as it is. Okay. I think I'm just gonna go here because now I can maneuver my queen out. Be right back. Sounds good. Oh god, I fucked up. I fucked up. I fucked up. More chess. Trying to get better at it, gamer. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Fuck. I hate where I'm at in this game. I don't feel like I have any really good strategies. I feel like he's putting up a really good defense. Guess I'll just try to slow him up here. Get good, scrub. I'm trying. Trying to get good. Okay, so if I take here, we'll take there. I'll take here. We'll take there. I take here, he'll take there. But if I were to not play his game, I'm gonna fall back and not play the game. Minecraft on PlayStation is getting a VR update. That's cool. Get good, please. Dude, I'm trying to get good, but I'm fucking up, Tim. You left for 3 seconds and I just started choking. Ugh, God, I hate the circumstances I'm in. That was dumb. I should have gone here. Don't allow him to have such pawn tension in the center in the future. When he moves the pawn into the center in the middle of the game, expect to take back with your pawn and be aware of future pushes for his pawns. Okay. Well, what he did while you were gone is he went here. And I could take it with that. He'll take with this. I'll take with this, he'll take with that. I take with that, and he takes with that. So, this felt like a losing battle. But I see what you're saying. Should I have taken that battle? You should take with the first pawn for sure. Because that's a pawn for a pawn. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, I misunderstood what happened. You lose a piece either way. It's a classic trick. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I could have played it better. I am not lost on... That is not lost on me. In and out for a bit? Okay. Don't feel like you have to stay, Tim. I just figured I'd invite you. In case you didn't see the notification or something, but no worries at all. Oh fuck. I just set myself up for such a dumb situation and I like fell into my own trap. God damn it. I'm so fucking stupid. There are two things. Yeah, he's threatening my queen and he's threatening my bishop. Or my rook. Exactly. But if I would have fucking... So he goes here. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm free for this pawn now. I'll just take that. And he's like, haha, joke's on you. Your piece is unprotected. Two of them are now. So how can you deal with one aggressively now and the other the next turn? I mean, my first thought was to move this pawn here. Don't overstate your opponent's ideas. Yeah, I guess I just feel like I fell into my own trap. My thought is to move here with this pawn. But that's not solving any problems. How would I aggressively solve this issue? C4, then he just takes with the bishop, try the other one. Try the other one. This? If I go here? No. Solve the D6 problem first. I don't think you're proposing a trade of sorts. That's the only aggressive move I see, though, is a trade here. But going here is obviously a death sentence. Going here doesn't solve any problems. Neither does falling back. I don't think you're proposing a trade. That's the only aggressive solution I see. Going here is a death sentence. Why wouldn't I be? Because trades are spooky. And I'm scared of trades. It does solve the problem. That's a win. Win those. So you're about to lose a piece for free. So your choice is A, lose a bishop, or rook for bishop. B, trade a bishop for a knight. What kind of choice is that? An obvious one. Okay, well I guess I just moved this guy out of the way now. Ah, got you good, fucker. tier trades. Trades are good when they solve a problem. They're bad when you're just doing them because you got nothing better to do. You'll still have nothing better to do the next turn. That's fair. See, I'm like quick to trade my queen. I'm not quick to trade other pieces. Oh, okay. Dumb, I'm dumb. I'm stupid. I'm big dumb. Me big dumb. Me big stupid. Four is greater than 2. That's true. Are you talking about the move I made? He has 4 pieces guarding e4. Yeah. Yeah, it was not the fight I needed to take. I just feel like he's got me by the fucking scrotum right now, and I don't appreciate it. Played that whole situation very poorly. Fuck. Take control of the board, hit his pieces, and roll over him. I just don't. I feel like every piece is where it needs to be, and changing anything is just gonna fuck me. Like, if I go here, can I fucking stop? Okay. If I go here, trade, and then if he wants to take that, and then I take that, then he'll just back it up with that. Pick your targets. Don't play reactive. I just can't find a target. Like, this is a death sentence. This is untouchable. This is untouchable. Queen is trying to be baller. Fuck that. How? How do I fuck that? I tell Tim I want to fuck it so bad, but I don't know how to fuck that. If I go here, and then threaten there, she's gonna have to do something. I'm doing that. I'm doing that. I'm doing that. Your bishop guards the pawn square, dude. You do guard that pawn square. Fuck you, bitch. Don't die here, please. couldn't have read that at a better time. I'm helping your next game. It's happening in voice. Okay. Let me take this to the analysis board really quickly. Okay, so I did my London. Interesting that wasn't recommended. On C4 wins more often. Interesting. Wait, am I in Masters? No, I'm just in Lichess. Okay. So Pawn C4 is a really good follow-up. Interesting. Okay, yeah, Tim, let's do that. Doodly doo. Fuck my ass. Doodly doo. Fuck my ass. Doodly doo. Fuck my ass. Fuck my ass. Fuck my ass.
Oh, hey there.
Howdy, brother. Why does it say that? How do I invite you?
Invite me to what?
The study.
It's not a study, it's an analysis board. If you just post a link to me in the Discord, I think then I should be able to click it and it should go to the same analysis.
Is it just a URL at the top?
It's just URL, I think.
Oh, fuck me, alright.
Anywhere.
There you go.
Failed, I'm sorry. Wrong button. Okay, draw an arrow.
Draw an arrow?
Yeah. Do you see my arrow?
What are you talking about?
Okay, so we're not actually linked together. The link took me into the same thing, but we can't see each other. So what I need you to do is the 3 lines on the bottom right, press it. The bottom right of your screen. That's
Okay.
the bottom left. You and I have different lefts. And then up on the top it says add to study somewhere under your face.
Create study.
Sure.
I'm just gonna study contribute to Wyze.
Yep.
Bingo.
Now I need to log into my X52 account because one that is part of Wyze. Is it my studies or your studies? My studies.
Okay, I invited you to the study.
I'm already part of the study. I made the study, bitch.
Well, I invited you to this one. Alright? Bitch.
Who was the game against?
Uh,
Harry. Oh. Wait, this isn't in Wyze.
I thought it was in Wyze.
Okay, well, can you stop? I put it in game study. Okay, I'm here though.
It was against Hirino Hariono.
Harry Noob?
That's what I thought too, but it was just like fucking misspell city.
I think it's supposed to be Harry Noob.
I was gonna say, dude, it's like a 9-year-old who's super hairy and he just fucking he can't spell, but he can play chess like a son of a bitch.
Yeah. Okay, walk me through what you're thinking.
Okay, so I mean, there's not much to say during this part of the London.
Agree.
I'm curious.
Tell me when we need to start looking at the position to see if anything's weird.
Okay. I wasn't really concerned about like this bishop here. He was fine. Fuck him. I felt good about that. I felt good about this.
So you were a little concerned after you saw this move because I think you didn't expect that move.
I did not.
But
You're correct.
it's kind of not a big deal.
No, and that's what I came down
it's
to.
It's an answer to this move, but so what?
I was just gonna say. I mean, if at the end of the day it comes out to something pretty even, because it's like it's 4 threatening 4, or 2 threatening 2. I mean.
So this is one of the reasons why being the player on the offense is often better, because if you make a threat and that threat doesn't work, then usually that just means that you're still equal, and then you can make another threat, and that threat might or might not work. But if your opponent makes a threat and you don't answer it correctly, you lose.
Sure.
So you made a threat with a knight, and you thought it was gonna be really cool, and it wasn't. It was okay. There was nothing bad about it.
Yep.
It just it didn't win. So what? We move on. Yep.
The game's suggesting knight to e5.
What's your depth at?
So it's not showing me anything. So it says
No.
a 40 Harrowitz defense.
Up on the top right, it says plus 1.0. What does it say next to that? It says depth to something higher. Higher.
Okay.
Yep. Up on the very top, it says plus 1 there. Then it says next to it, it says depth something. You messed it up by moving the piece, but
Went back. It just says plus 1.0.
and then next to it says Stockfish 11.
Oh.
No, higher. Yep.
Okay. WASMX.
Okay, it says depth something.
22 of 22.
22. Okay, my depth is at 30. So let me check your settings. The 3 bars on the bottom right. Click that.
Yep.
I'm gonna have the delay, so.
2 CPUs,
Okay, turn
32
infinite
megs.
analysis on.
Okay.
And if your computer is super strunk, you can turn CPUs up to max. And regardless of whether your computer is super strunk, you can turn up memories to either max or at least half.
Turn it up to half. I'll turn CPUs up to 3. Just it's not strunk, but it's not wonk either.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm at 99 depth.
Yeah. Wait. No, something out of 99. So the over
22
99
out of
means
99.
that in the right, and it's thinking about the position 99 moves deep in one line. So it's just kind of beelining to a position 100 moves from now.
Okay.
Or 50 moves from now, technically. And it's not really making sure that it's got the best position, it's just thinking what it thinks would be most likely the best position in 50 moves.
Okay.
But all the other lines, it's only thinking about 20-something moves deep, depending on what your apply is at right now. So it says depth of 20-something.
Mm-hmm.
That's how far it's at so far. If that's less than 22, then you haven't let it think enough. You want that to be about 25 or 26 to be confident of the computer's understanding of the position.
Okay. So
Because
go ahead.
with the way a computer works, if it thinks like 8 moves ahead, that could be 16 fly. It could easily miss a free piece on the 9th turn. Or depth 16, depth 17 there, right?
Yeah.
But when it gets to depth 22, there's no way it's still missing a piece. Usually. Not 100%, but pretty close.
Interesting. Okay.
That's a little bit exaggerated example, but yeah.
All right. So it's only saying that it's
Okay.
plus 0.7. So it's not a significantly better move.
So mine actually at a depth of 33 is showing knight takes d6 is a little better than 95, but only by a fraction.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's
Mine's showing that now too at depth 26.
Yep. Exactly. And
Okay.
so, like, if you like either one of these moves better, and in fact, if you like rook e1, bishop e5, or a4 better, then by all means, go ahead and do them because they're just fine. You don't have to try to play like a computer. In fact, you're going to be hurting yourself if you try to emulate a computer.
Okay.
Because you're not.
So
That was offensive. I said that.
So I went for that. And then he took pawn, which I expected. And then I'm just letting its depth go up a little bit here.
No, just keep going.
Okay.
So, I
But
know
that
you
was-
haven't been to this exact position before, but so far nothing weird has happened.
Nope.
That trade was interesting, but it's just modern so far.
Yeah.
So we're still looking for the point where you kind of lost control of the position.
Yeah, it
So
keeps
we're still going forward a little bit. Okay.
Okay, go for it.
So there's this. sudden jump here.
Yep.
And this is, so when we're analyzing our games on our own, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the point where the computer gives you this sudden big jump like this. Now, if there's something interesting in the opening that you're curious about, even if the computer doesn't give you a big jump, you can look at that if you're just curious, right? So, like, if you go back to where you played the knight to b5 to attack, you could see what else you could have done. Since that didn't quite work the way you wanted it to, you can see what other moves might have been suggested. Okay. But if you want to do that again next time, it's not going to hurt you. It wasn't a bad move.
Yeah.
But this move, you did something wrong here. So let's figure out why that was wrong.
I'm trying to think. I'm not losing any pawn structure. I'm gaining pawn structure. The bishop was still protected by the queen, so the bishop's still safe. I honestly don't fucking know. Just a waste of a move, I guess. Allowed him to go on the offense.
So you can see a very thick gray arrow suggested by the computer.
Yep.
That's what the computer is saying is black's best move, right?
Yep.
So the fact that it's so much thicker than any other arrow means that that's the move that is best. You can also see on the right, there's one move that's -2, and all the other moves are equal.
Yep. Okay. So
we know that that e5 move is a problem for us. So if you go back one move, any move you did other than c3 was also just as bad, unless it in some way dealt with as pawn push. So if you played h3, this seems like a good move. Oh, e5. If you played rook b1, this seems like a decent move. Oh, e5. Actually, the computer doesn't mind this because we get some serious tempo over here, but that's a different story.
Is there a reason I can't see the moves you're drawing are not showing up for me?
Are you not seeing my arrows?
No.
Oh. Okay, so in the two members on the top left, you need to make me a contributor.
There we go. Okay.
Aha! Now I have power. Now you can see my moves.
Yep. Okay. What happens when Lichess restarts? Do we die? Where do we go after we die? I'm gonna have to drop something down. I'm gonna drop my CPUs down because my stream quality's in the bed.
Are you there?
Hello?
Hey.
I had to drop my CPUs down, my stream quality, and clearly my voice was shitting the bed.
Yep. So yeah, keep the CPUs low, but keep the memory high, or mid or high. You've almost certainly got plenty of memory to handle what it's asking for, so the memory's not a big deal, but the CPUs will eat up your system.
Okay. So.
And you don't really need your CPUs that high. It doesn't make it that much faster.
Okay.
Okay.
As you were saying.
What was I saying?
I mean, you moved my knight, right?
Okay. So yeah, in this position, any move we make, he's going to play this move e5.
Yep.
Unless we deal with this move. So why is this move a problem? Because like when we're trying things out, we're like, well, okay, I thought rook e1 seemed like a good move, but he still goes e5, and that's still -1. And I thought c3 looked pretty good, but then he still goes here, and that's -2. So why is this move such a problem? Why are we so afraid of this move?
I mean, just because he's got like a fucking gauntlet lined up.
So the fact that it's a +2 means more than just because it's good. There's got to be a specific reason why this move is so strong for him. What exactly is it doing?
It's...
Be specific.
It's forcing us to lose a piece.
Be more specific.
It's forcing our bishop into a bad position.
So our bishop moves, and then what happens?
He takes pawn.
Nope.
Then he puts our other bishop in a bad move.
And then not just our bishop,
but our knight.
Our bishop and our knight. So he's winning a piece.
Yeah.
When we play this move c3 or almost any move here,
Tim,
this
give
move
me
attacks our bishop.
Give me 1 sec. I gotta let Kevin into my office.
And then wins a piece. Go ahead.
crazy. Kevin PogChamp. Okay. So. Is there a good way to deal with this? Is my question.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So let's break it down to simpler though. Like, not just can we deal with it, but what is it threatening right now and next turn? What is the two main threats that are problems for us? Because if we can figure out what the problems are, then we can take those problems away.
Bishops and knights.
Our bishop here is in danger, so that's the first problem. And the second problem was what?
The bishop and the knight.
Yeah, that he's forking these two, that we can't say both. So one way to deal with it would be to move this bishop. Another would be to move this knight. And another would be to move this bishop.
Yep.
Simple as that. Once we know the problem, it's not hard to deal with the problem. So in this position, the question then is, where should we have seen that? Where did we miss it? When he played the move rook e8, that lined up the rook to get ready for this move.
Yeah.
Now, in the middle game, you always want to expect these pawn pushes. You know he wants to do this at some point, especially because of the trade that you did here. That helped his pawn guard that square. So now you're more expecting him to go there because his pawn's going to help.
Yep.
So we know he wants to do this. And when he plays rook e8, he says, I'm gonna do this.
Sure. So I should have when he and I dude, as soon as he moved that rook, I was like, he's setting up for something, but I guess I didn't know what something I was looking for.
Right.
So I was like, that's not a time killer move.
The main expected middle game move, if you're unsure of what to do next, is to break in the center with the pawn push to attack the center pawn tab.
Yep.
So for you, you're looking at the e4 and c4 moves, and you're looking at those a lot, which is great. So you need to recognize that your opponent is looking at those exact same things.
So I did that. That was poor.
I'll let you continue. He played a6. That wasn't quite great from him.
Okay.
But go ahead.
So I played a4, and then I think what I did next was not smart. Okay.
Yep. Still.
But now would have been
idea,
now would have been a smart time to move this bishop down. But I didn't.
Yep.
And then I made things worse here.
Now, this is just a little thing, but as a rule with these three pawns like this, or more specifically when he puts the pawn here, your instinct is to take with the pawn, because the worst case scenario is, it's a trade. But usually that weakens some of his pawns for later. Your fallback is there a reason I don't want to take? So usually, like, we talked about trades. So let me just change this position a little bit earlier. Let's look at this position. Would it be good for him to take your knight here?
No.
Not particularly, because your pawn gets to move forward and make progress. So your instinct with a normal trade like this isn't to take. Your instinct is to not take unless you can see a good reason to take. But this position is the opposite. With pawns, especially in the center, your instinct is to take unless you can see a good reason not to take.
Correct.
So in this case, you're kind of in trouble no matter what, but taking is the best you can get out.
Interesting.
Technically b5 is, but that's another story.
Yeah, that's like cutting the snake head off at the base.
It's not insane to understand this move, but it's just it's not dealing with the problem, so it's just a different, like, it's like a side mission in an RPG.
Yeah, it's also just a little
loot for later, but it doesn't really deal with the main story.
Yeah, my brain's too smooth for that at this juncture. So,
okay.
Go ahead.
Continue.
So, what did I do? Then I fell back because it was kind of obvious.
Yeah.
And then he pushes forward, which is also obvious, I guess. And it's telling me, I'll give it a sec to make sure that it's reaching proper depth.
Nah.
Okay.
You don't have to let it get to depth 22 on every move, but
but
if
it's clear that
verifying your instinct, then yeah, go with your instinct. In this case, it's not actually, because you were thinking between these two moves, right?
Yep.
I 100% say go bishop e2. The computer still says bishop e1. I don't care. Both are fun.
Okay. So I go here.
Bishop e2 lets your bishop take back here, which I feel like is good.
Yeah.
The computer's saying, I want to keep the bishop on this line to get some pressure on the side later, and then take this with the queen, and then maybe go for something later. It's not that important either way.
Sure. So he takes. Me takes. Wait, was that the good move? It was. Okay.
Yep.
Then
100%.
I didn't really know what to think about him moving that knight there. It seemed pointless to me. All he did was block this lane, so I guess I thought that he was just kind of stalling or something.
Good. Don't assume ever that your opponent's just stalling, because they're probably trying to make some progress.
Well, the reason I thought that is because he also made this pawn move, which also felt like
this
stalling.
isn't stalling either. He doesn't want you to push this pawn because he sees it's a problem.
Oh, so he saw the brain that, or the move that my small brain didn't see. Interesting.
He is 1400.
Okay. So he moved here. I didn't know what to think of it.
So this is the computer's favorite move. So it's interesting. We should say, okay, I didn't like this move, but the computer does. Why did my opponent and the computer both like this move? So let's see if we can figure out an idea of why he did that. It's not super straightforward, but
I'm assuming it's to go d7 and then to f5. This is my guess. Is to set up for something.
yeah, he's just rerouting his knight. It doesn't feel very good here. It's kind of bored on this square.
Mm-hmm. And he's putting a lot more pressure on my bishops by moving to e5, f5.
Exactly. It has more to do.
Yeah.
There's not a correct way to play this for black. A lot of positions, there's lots that you can do. And this is just one pretty good idea. That's all.
Okay.
It also guards the pawn that you were starting to put pressure on, so he might have been scared about that pawn, so he's like, yeah, let's guard it.
Okay, that makes sense. It's already guarded by the other knight, but okay.
Right. He might have just been quaking in his boots, or thinking about moving this knight somewhere. And then, oh darn, I can't move my knight now. Oh well, I'll guard it again, then I can move my knight.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So then me dum dum go there.
It's not that bad. Don't get concerned about a 0.3 difference. This is as good a move as any right now.
So I took with that. Was that recommended? Sorry, let me go back. It was. Yeah, it looks like it was still low on the points though. It says point.
It's no worse than any other. There's no reason not to do it because it's a free pawn, but the computers are arguing that that pawn isn't that important because it's so weak, gets doubled, and you'll probably get to take it later anyway.
Sure.
So the computer's like, well, I could also go rook e1, that's pretty good too. There's not a right or wrong, but just as a rule, if you can take a pawn and get away with it, and there's no consequence, it should be your instinct.
Okay.
If there are consequences, then you should hesitate and make the right decision, and then pay the price if you make the wrong one.
Okay, so I go there, and it's strongly advising him to go to b5.
Yep.
And now it's telling me to take the knight. Why would it tell me to take the knight? Oh wait, because that's the trade that you told me to take.
So you were so scared that this move was bad.
Yes.
And the reason for that was twofold. One, you saw this move, and it's insane. He's hitting your bishop, he's hitting your rook. This is so much bad shit happening right now.
Yeah.
And so you're letting your emotions control your understanding of the game. Because something bad just happened, you assume your position is bad. It's not quite true. Because if you can deal with the bad thing that happened, and you can, take care of it, then it's not really that bad.
Sure.
Right? It might be annoying for a moment, and it might force you to play something that's not exactly what you wanted to do, but it's not that bad, and you want to pawn, right? Be objective. So, he's attacking the rook, and you're like, okay, I can't solve this problem. If I move the rook, I lose the bishop. And he's attacking the bishop, and you're like, I can't solve this problem, because if I move the bishop, then I lose my rook. And these are both bad things. And you came up with this idea c4, which is a clever idea, but not quite solving the problem enough.
Yeah.
So then that...
And I knew it wasn't good because it was just, all he was going to do is take, and then I'd be in the exact same position.
Right.
So I was considering it, but I didn't feel good about it.
Right.
So then I
And
go...
then what we need to do is we need to look for other ways to control it with each piece. The rook didn't have a way to do it. Doesn't control the game. He still takes the bishop. But the bishop controls the game because his queen's in danger. So when you take this, he has to answer.
Yeah. I did that. He takes. Now it's telling me that the knight was the best move, which is what I did, or the rook.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now it's telling him to kick his bishop to c8. Interesting.
Yeah, he felt a little bit unsure here. He didn't know what he wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So he came up with this idea that he wanted to keep his bishop safer because he was worried about some sort of attacks. And he saw that, you're kind of attacking this, and he's like, well, I mean, I have 2 defenders, but, 3 is more than 2, so let's do it. And his logic here isn't perfect, and that's why he's at 1400. He's wasting time with this move. But I can kind of understand what he's trying to do. He's just trying to keep his position safe because he's worried that he's going to fuck up this lead he's got.
Okay. So he does that. I go here. That was not recommended. It's recommending I go up with my pawn now.
Yeah, so this isn't safe either, but what it does is it lets you control the game, and this pawn you can get back later easily.
Okay.
Right, so this pawn, however, this is not safe, and you can't get it back easily.
Damn. Alright, so he takes, and then it's telling me to move my bishop back, which I do.
Yep.
And it's telling him...
Now this move from him, he says, I've got a big plan. There's no way my opponent sees this. And he was correct.
Okay.
This is a very common pattern when you see him move his queen here. So I would say one of the things that was happening in your process is you were desperately looking for something good for you to do, something good for White's pieces to do.
Yep.
But I don't think you ever noticed that this move from him, it doesn't seem to do anything.
No, it doesn't.
It's not attacking this. There's no one over here, no one over here, no one over here, no one this way. What the hell was the point of this?
Point was it's one move away from a check.
So that's a pattern I want you to notice. I want you to see this pattern and be like, what the hell? Why did he do this move? Oh, that's a battery. Does he have a checkmate? Yes, he does. GG.
GG.
So when you think about it that way, it's like, if he makes a move that doesn't look like it's good, then try to imagine why. So even this move, bishop c6, this looks terrible, but even now I'm starting to imagine, does he have some plan to come over here? I would guess that he's already thinking about making some moves like, queen here sometime. He's already planning to do that eventually.
Okay.
Or queen here, right?
Yeah.
When he plays this move, he's thinking about this side of the board.
Okay.
And you can't give them too much credit. You can't be like, oh my god, he's got a brilliant attack here. I'm gonna make a whole bunch of weaknesses because I was scared that he's gonna get an attack if I don't weaken my own position. It's obviously really bad logic. Right?
If I go, he takes.
So you talked about c4, but you thought you had to play queen c1. So I'm curious why you didn't notice this. Your bishop guards this square, so why not just push the pawn there?
Because I didn't see the bishop guarding.
Why not?
Because I wasn't being observant, and you were telling me to be a badass, and I was feeling very, very shrimptic in that moment.
Mm-hmm. So, but why queen c1 if you're trying to be a badass? This feels like it's getting ready to be a badass instead of being a badass.
Because if I don't see this, then setting up here seems
Right.
like the best move to threaten the queen.
So why don't you see this?
Why don't I see the bishop?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because that's stupid.
So if you can actually figure out the answer to that question, then your brain gets a little bigger and your PP a little smaller.
I guess because Is it because... My only guess is because the pawn's here and I feel threatened by a piece in that proximity that I'd have to cross paths with, but that doesn't make a lot of sense.
What is your bishop's role in your mind here?
Don't die. I guess protect the queen.
Right.
But
That's actually a good answer. Not it's an incorrect answer, but it's good that you recognize that, right? Because your bishop has been kind of being pushed around for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
So we come back to here. It's been kicked here, attacked here. It had to do this. Then it got attacked again later.
Yeah.
Right. So you've been trying to just like not lose the bishop for a long time now. And so maybe you're not thinking about the bishop as its own piece, but more as like a pawn, basically, just trying to survive.
Yeah. Okay. Is that what you were getting at?
I'm not getting at anything, honestly, because it's different in everybody why you miss these things. I mean, I miss similar things where it's different tiers or whatever, but it's the same concept of like, oh, I can't push this because then he'll just take it, but not necessarily that simple. But I miss things along that same vein where obviously I could just push this. There's no reason I couldn't. Duh. Right?
Yeah.
So if you can figure out why you didn't see this, then maybe that can help you not make that mistake.
Yeah, I think it was. I think I was kind of right, and you were kind of right that I was just tired of letting him get pushed around, and I didn't really see him as a piece worth attacking with anymore, or whatever. I was so focused. I was so tunnel visioned on protecting him that I was
exactly
not utilizing
I
it.
had a game a really long time ago in which my opponent moved his bishop here, and it was just being a real bastard. Maybe it was bishop here, I'm not sure. But it was really being a real bastard towards my rook that was on e1 or f1 or something like that. And then I dealt with that problem. I got my rook off of e1. I was so proud of myself for getting out of the pressure that he had put. And I was like, aha, your bishop is doing nothing now. And then 2 turns later, I moved my other rook to the square and lost it.
I think you've told me this story before.
And it was a big eye-opener for me because I realized that in my processing, I had equated this bishop as accomplished or done. I had defeated the bishop. I had done everything, like I've solved this problem. And I didn't really think of it as a piece anymore. It wasn't relevant to me. I dealt with it.
You wrote it off because it was slain.
Right. But of course it wasn't.
Sure.
And I think, it's different here. But I think understanding that I missed that, helped me be aware of pieces still putting pressure. And then there was a second game that was kind of similar to it many years afterwards, when I was actually much, much stronger player, in which my opponent had a bishop here attacking with rook at f1, and I allowed this trap to happen not once, but twice against the same person, where I ended up losing a rook because of this bishop move. And it was very different, but it had that same mindset where I didn't learn from the mistake the first time, and it kind of cemented itself more. And now I'm more aware of, like, pieces being persistent. So, like, that's why I say that understanding why you missed this, that's nothing to do with, like, why I missed the bishop or whatever, why I played the rook here. But understanding why you missed it can help you not do it again.
Like psychology.
Yes, 100%. I teach psychology, I don't teach chess.
Damn.
Chess is a side benefit.
Okay, so I didn't see this, so I went for this position in hopes of fucking on queen.
And given that he plays like a wasted move like rook b8, this is great. I like the intent here. I will point out that your queen is also guarding this pawn, so when you push c4, you're defending this pawn. So if you move your queen, you lose the pawn d4. But yeah, I mean, like,
it's interesting that I make moves that go take that pawn from being double protected to not protected.
Yeah, right. In this move, he's up a piece, or in this position, he's up a piece. But I saw this move as a big weakness, and the computer still says he's up 4 points. But when he plays this move, I know what he wants. I know what he's capable of and what he's in on. He wants this thing to win right now. Yeah. And that tells me that he's not willing to be patient. He's not willing to make good moves to improve his position and to focus on long-term attack.
So do you think? What do you think he was doing when he moves that knight?
This move?
Or not the knight, the rook.
When? Back here?
No, further on. Way further on.
Control. Take it.
Oh, wait, I thought he moved it at some point. I thought you said he wasted a turn going here.
No. So I was suggesting that when you played Queen C1, if you had played if he had then played like Rook B8, then you've got a good idea here. But it's still even not that good because he does lose his pawn.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, going C4 here. So what I'm saying is when he plays this move, I know exactly what his whole being is.
Sure.
Because it's all about this one winning idea. He wants to go for this and this. And I've seen the pattern before, so I recognized it immediately. But it also shows me that he's not willing to play slowly and patiently. And now I'm like, boom, I'm going to control this whole game. He's going to be scared. He's going to retreat the queen, then I'm going to attack. He's going to retreat the bishop, then I'm going to attack again. And I'm going to maybe have to be careful, because if I attack again, I lose this pawn. And so I'm going to maybe work my way a little slower, but I'm going to control this game from here on out, even though I'm behind.
Take the reins back.
Yes. And at some point, he's going to be so freaked out by how strong my attack is that he's going to start just throwing away pieces to try to not die, even though he's still at -4. He's like, oh shit, I'm desperate here. I'm going to sack my bishop. And I see this all the time. He thinks that your attack is so good that he just gives away a piece. Your attack's not that good. It's just strong, right? It's not good. It's just, it's got strength to it.
It's strong and it's assertive, I guess.
Assertive, yeah. Yeah. So this is why I'm all like, grow a big peepee, attack him. That's what I was talking, in chat. And I got excited, right? I'm like, ooh, this is gonna happen. And then you see one, and then think about why he did this.
And then you said, don't die. And so what? So when he, sorry, stop. Okay. So, okay. So taking with the pawn was not recommended either. That's interesting.
No. Why did he do this dumbass move?
To initiate.
Yes. To checkmate you, right?
Yeah,
when your opponent makes a move that looks completely idiotic, if your opponent gives you a free piece, assume first that they have a trick up their sleeve. If you can't find the trick, then assume they're an idiot. But if you see the trick, then don't fall for it, right? So when he plays this, we're like, wait, what's his trick? What's he trying to do? He wants me to take it, so if I take this, what'll he do?
Take that. And then that's
right.
A checkmate.
Yeah.
So
the best move here is bishop here. The computer actually disagrees, who cares? Bishop here kind of controls the flow a little bit. And if they retreat their queen, then you can start, or you can continue trying to represent your pieces as strong attackers.
Okay.
The problem here is that he's going to get this pawn takes f2, which is really going to rip open your king.
Yeah.
After king takes, rook takes, queen takes, he'll have queen, bishop, knight, and then eventually this rook all coming in to attack you pretty cooperatively, coordinatedly, where they're putting pressure together.
So from what I'm understanding, I mean, obviously anything's possible, but pretty much right here was my last real opportunity to bring the game back in my favor. And when I made that, it was just kind of only trying to prevent the inevitable, which I did poorly.
Right, and I would hesitate to say opportunity. It's kind of opportunity, but it still relies on him to screw up.
Yeah, but the last hope.
Right.
Last show of potential.
As soon as he plays e3, you are losing if he plays correctly, and he can still fuck up. Like, you always have, chances of your opponent not being a big thing.
Especially because you said he gets impatient. Interesting.
Yep. So if you do play bishop f3 here, he might, be like, well, I'm going to go queen here because I still want to get that checkmate one day. And this is not as good of a move, and you're kind of still in it, kind of. Kind of, not really.
Damn.
Bishop takes, pawn takes, rook takes, pawn takes, or queen takes, I guess. Queen takes, pawn takes. Yeah, that's just not good enough. He's up a piece. It's too easy to win when you're up a piece and there's no other thing, nothing else on the board.
Yeah.
Like this position, for example, he just goes knight here, and now you're like, oh, well, I guess I'm gonna lose a pawn too. And then he's like, okay, well, I move the knight here, and he wins another pawn. And then he goes after this pawn, and like, stop it, you douchebag, and he's like that.
So here's the question: what is the biggest takeaway I should have had from this match?
Two things. One, the error you made in the opening that lost you a piece. We want to recognize that pattern. So when he moved this pawn here, he wins the bishop or knight.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to notice this pattern and keep it in mind. Is this 1, 2, 3? So this is a London system pattern. It's also a Sicilian pattern that I see in my Sicilians that I get to do as black against the Sicilian with this 3 piece setup.
Yep.
Okay. This is something that you do in the London is you put your piece on these 3 squares. And so just be ready if he's going to go here.
And the correct move was to... Sorry, I'm just reiterating to try and drill it into my brain. So he goes here. The correct move...
No, back here. Before he pushes the pawn, because you know he wants to. It's too late if you move this pawn up. In fact, it's as soon as he plays the rook.
The correct move would be to go here.
Correct. It's the most simple, clean move you can play here.
Okay. Alright. And what was the other takeaway?
So the first takeaway is remember what went wrong in the opening so you don't let it happen again, because you're going to see this exact same position, maybe with like a couple of pawns slightly different, again, right? This exact same pattern will happen again in your opening. The second takeaway is...
See that move.
The mating pattern is kind of there, but this is kind of like a more small bit, as opposed to missing that your bishop was guarding the square.
Mm-hmm.
So the second takeaway is figuring out how to take control. So the whole time, you just kind of assumed your pieces were as good as they could be. So I kind of take offense, not offense, I kind of object to that feeling that your pieces can't be any better. Because I think if you had 1,000 moves in a row, I think the bishop could find lots of good squares to be on. It doesn't seem that good, but maybe I would have liked to put the bishop on c4 and the queen on e2. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to get there. It's a fantasy, but just assume your bishop is as good as it can be.
No, I didn't even feel like it was as good as could be. I felt like something was taking care of something else everywhere, so it felt like there was no...
Sure. But what is this bishop really doing? It's not taking care of anything.
Yeah, no, and that goes back to the whole fallacy that I just needed to keep him alive.
Right. So I think the second part of that though is that you play with fear. You play feeling like any minute now you're gonna fuck up and lose the game.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to play this. You assume then that means that you have to play this like perfect game where you play, absolute, perfect moves and don't make any blunders, and in that mindset you avoid looking for interesting and exciting moves when that's going on. Right. It doesn't mean you never look for interesting and exciting moves, but that means that when you're afraid, you're much more likely to just curl up and be like, I just like don't die. F3. Yeah, that tries to like deal. Oh wait, that's no good. Queen D2, pawn, Queen C1, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Try not to play with fear, or try to overcome your fear, and play with mid-level confidence. But the other thing there is when you did get confident, you were too sure that you were right about your confidence. But that's a weird psych thing that I'm not sure how to explain. Because when you saw Queen C1, when you saw C4, and you're like, okay, I'll bring my queen to guard C4, and then great, then I'll get to do this. You didn't at that point think about what he could do. You didn't at that point see if there was an alternative to moving your queen, if someone else could guard this square, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe, what about this? What about rook C1? Why not the rook coming to guard that? Maybe that's even better than the queen doing it.
Sure. It still doesn't stop his current onslaught.
Correct. But I'm just pointing out that you came up with the idea that, okay, this is a good attack.
Yep.
Well, I kind of pointed you towards that. I was like, big PP is queen please. When you determined that this is what you wanted to do, you're like, okay, how do I support that? I see a pretty good way to support that. I'm confident that this is then the best way to support that. And you see where the logic there just, there's a weird jump.
Sure. Yeah.
You found a good way to do something, then that brought you to this confidence that, you know, it's the best way to do it.
Yes, absolutely.
And then nothing could go wrong.
And then it all went wrong.
Yeah. As far as this position, like, once he goes here, like, this is, you have to find F3 or Bishop F3, and then just hope that he plays badly.
Yeah.
And he could, right? He could fuck this position up. It is 7 weeks from Sunday,
but he didn't. I also
didn't give him enough.
Yeah. I just spoon fed him a win. Enjoy the elo, asshole. All right. Do you wanna walk me through another game?
If you'd like.
You don't feel like you have to.
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay.
If I insult your PP, then don't take it personally.
It's okay. I'll forgive you because it's you. You know what I mean? If anybody else was talking poorly about my PP, I'd have words for him, but it seems like a fair trade. You get to insult my PP, I get free chess lessons. Are they going to be opening schools back up in Seattle?
Nope.
No? They're doing it down here. They're gonna
not for decades. Where are you?
Utah?
Well, of course. In Utah, of course they are.
Yeah, exactly. We also have had like almost no cases yet. We've had like 900, and it's like there's, I think, 2 million people in Utah, 1.3 or something. So it's like we haven't tasted it yet. We locked down super hard, and then like when the whole country fucking locked down, I drove by a public park and had to have seen 300 people in this one park, and it's like not the big park in the city. So it was like, all right, well, people clearly don't give a fuck, and somehow we've gone through relatively unscathed, other than like a couple outbreaks of like senior living homes.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna fucking put the kids back in school. Fuck it. And I'm just like, it's just a matter of time, dude. All these schools are just gonna be hot zones, and then they're gonna
not like intermingle with the rest of the U.S. as much as other states or something. I'm trying to imagine why.
Yeah, no, that's exactly why. I mean, like people always like if you tell someone you're from Utah, they're like, oh, I could never live there because of the Mormons.
Right.
And I think that's like a really, I wouldn't say obnoxious because I don't care if you come live here. I don't fucking give a shit. But I would say it's, that's like saying I would never consider going to the Middle East because of the terrorists. And it's like, well, there's really amazing places in the Middle East. You're just scared of like a very select few people, I guess. And I'm sure, obviously the threat level is much different between like aggressive Christians and radicalized Islamists.
Yeah.
But I've been living here for 3 years. My wife grew up here. I guess it's been 4 years here now. I've dealt with little to no Mormons. Like, they keep to themselves. The rest of the world keeps to themselves. It's like, you see some funny billboards every now and again where it's like, you know, the Mormon church will put up a billboard and it'll be like, Cosmo's for sinners. We hate you. Get rid of Cosmo. The magazine sucks. It's just child pornography. And you'll see something like that and be like, okay. All right, cool. But like they can maybe knock on your door, but it's pretty easy to get them to go away. Like, and Jehovah's Witnesses do that anyway, so it's like, you're getting that everywhere. So they don't affect your day-to-day life, but they completely run the state government. Pretty much 90% of the people who are elected in right now in the state government of Utah and like your cities and shit are members of the church. And so like the whole state voted and like by 70% agreed with medical marijuana, so it should pass. Everybody voted. It passed by a long shot.
Yeah.
And then the Mormon church vetoed it.
They're like, fuck you guys. Wyze.
Yeah, the Mormon Church vetoed the living fuck out of it, so there's no medical marijuana here. Shit like that. So yeah, that we do kind of operate in a bubble.
You know it's your turn, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just curious.
It's very weird though. I've never seen anything like it. And like where I grew up in Wyoming, there's a fair amount of Mormons. Do I queen take right now?
Yeah. Why are you playing Scandy?
Alright, I'm just gonna fall my queen back now.
No.
No.
Give me a second. I'm watching your stream, which is delayed, but I have it up on the other window, so I'm not sure why I'm watching your
Do
stream.
I check?
So, first off, stop playing this trash opening unless you want me to hate you.
Oh no, I didn't mean
why?
to. I literally meant to click off. Fuck.
It's not the worst thing ever, but when you click off, click on your king. You can't accidentally take your king. Or click on his king, because if you accidentally take his king, then great.
You win.
Whoops.
Fuck.
Not my fault, but let me do it. Okay, so, we're gonna make this intentional. We're gonna prove that we did this on purpose, okay?
Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
Okay. Big important thing that we have to do, because if we're like, oh fuck, I fucked up, then we're gonna play the rest of the game as if we've already lost. So, develop your pieces, don't move your queen again until you have a good reason to.
Okay. I am going to kind of... I'm gonna... Fuck, I don't like this. When I say I don't like this, I'm just talking about my decision making. I think I'm gonna go pawn to c5.
Good. It's terrible, actually, but you know. Mostly kidding. It doesn't bring out a piece, right? So it controls some of the center and stops him from pushing his pawn 2 squares.
Yeah.
And so I like it. I'd kind of rather just bring out a piece because you have no pieces out and he has 2.
Oh, by a piece you're talking non-pawns. I was like, it does 2 bring
Knights
out a
and
piece.
bishops. Knights and bishops are what I talk about when I'm talking about pieces.
Okay.
Sometimes rooks and queens.
Okay, so now I'm going to... I want to go pawn e6, but maybe cake's not. I'm gonna actually go knight g6. Wait, knight f6.
Gotcha. Yeah. E6 would be okay here, but again, I'd rather bring out a piece. Though that does help bring out a piece, it's just I'd rather get a piece out now. But yeah.
Okay, now I'm gonna go. Now I want to go e6.
Sure. Did he threaten anything?
Oh, he did. Good dang.
Oh, did he?
I mean, he threatened it. It wouldn't be a good trade on him.
He aimed at something. That's not the same as a threat. A threat means you have to deal with it. You don't have to deal with this shit.
Okay.
But if you're afraid of it, you could play knight c6. To be clear, I'd rather do the pawn. Oh no, he took our knight. We're so sad. This is a terrible move from him. He just wasted 2 moves with his bishop for 1 move with your rook. So he lost 2 turns. Or he lost at least 1 turn, if you argue that your rook isn't happy here. But if your rook's kind of okay being here, then he lost 2 turns.
Sure. He big dum dum. He's
Yeah,
small
he
brain.
big,
He's smooth brain.
he big peepee.
Worse than having a big PV. I couldn't imagine.
Small brain equals big peepee. Big brain equals small peepee.
Okay, so if I go, I'm gonna go on b5, b6, b6, and that backs up my structure. Even though it's already protected by the knight, or by bishop on f square, I kind of want to go up just to enable my c square bishop to have some mobility.
Sure, I like it. Did you consider taking his pawn?
Not really.
Okay, so if you remember the game before...
Because I only didn't consider it because then it would bring his knight further out.
I kind of let you fuck yourself here. My bad. But if you consider the game before, remember I said that our instinct should be to trade the pawns in the center when he puts a pawn in the center.
Oh, that's right. That's true. Okay.
But I didn't see this move. This is stupid. We just lose.
I just lost?
Yeah, your queen and king are lined up, and you can't save it. You can't save your queen.
Oh no. What if I DDoS his server, his Wi-Fi?
That's probably your best chance.
Fuck. God damn it.
Same.
Alright, well, I guess I just take the rook. Or the bishop.
I don't see any rooks.
The bishop. I guess that's my only real choice here.
Sure.
What a bitch. Fuck this guy. Alright, well, fuck. I'm gonna go bishop to a6.
I dig it.
Oh, he could take pawn a7.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. I think pawn a7 cares, Tim.
We're down a queen, so all that we care about is fronting. We want to represent like we're winning this position until he is so afraid of us winning that he gives away. And that's like weird to think, but there's no way we beat him if he plays well. He's up a queen. So we want to outplay him psychologically.
Okay, I kind of want to set up.
Well.
Oh wait, could I take pawn on d4?
So before you do anything, yes and no, it's not that good. His knight will take back, or his queen will take back. His knight on a7 has nowhere to go but one square. So if you take that square away, you might be able to try to win that knight.
Okay.
Not easy to do. There's only one way to do it, and it's unorthodox, and it's bad actually. But just be aware of it. It's actually bad.
So don't.
Move on.
Okay. It's like I'm getting mixed signals here. Do it, don't do it. It's unorthodox. Don't go for it.
Well, okay, so your king can come and stop his knight from escaping. But then you just lined up your king with his queen, and that's terrifying.
Fuck it, Tim. When in Rome. I'm already down a queen. I'm gonna just set up for a... I'm gonna move my bishop to d6.
Yeah.
And just kind of set up to castle.
And if he takes your pawn, your bishop will just have one to take back.
Yep.
And it kind of like seems like it's wasting time, but it doesn't matter. You need to get castled. And, you know, he's not going to take your pawn or anything. So. No, he's...
Do I pawn take or bishop take?
In most cases, you'll want to play bishop takes. This case, I agree. I think it's the same.
Really?
Unless you have some good reason that you want to take with the pawn.
Okay.
Well, first off, he's going to play queen takes bishop, so that seems like it'd be bad.
Okay, so bishop takes.
Yes. But the reason as a rule that you want the bishop to take is because the bishop is active and strong there. You'd rather the bishop be guarded by the pawn than the pawn be guarded by the bishop.
Okay.
Like a Confucius statement. Confucius say, bishop guarding pawn is worse than pawn guarding bishop.
Confucius says, "Fuck my ass."
I think he did say that.
Yeah, I know I did. Trust me, I was there.
Me and Confucius used to be buddies.
I love. You'll see sometimes, you know, like inspirational. People always post like inspirational quotes and shit on Facebook. You'll see things and it'll just be like really inspirational looking. It'll be like a misty valley and it'll have a quote and it'll be by Buddha and it just says, "Quit being a cunt," said Buddha. And I love that shit. Don't be a dick. By the Dalai Lama. I'm gonna just castle.
Do it. You won't.
Oh, I did, Tim. I castled like a son of a bitch. And now I could take my castle, my B square castle, threaten his queen, get her all jostled up.
Yep. Is there a reason you chose the B square rook?
Because F square rook is protecting old kingy boy.
It's not. Your B8 rook defends your king just as well as your F8 rook. The only difference is the F8 rook is defending the F7 pawn, the pawn right in front of it, but nobody cares, that pawn's fine.
So he's threatening my bish right now. I don't appreciate it.
Yeah, me either.
But if I go to B7, I'm safe, and I've lost almost no mobility, correct?
I dig. It gives his knight the ability to go back to B5, but that's not so good here because then you can pin the knight with your bishop.
Yeah, and that would also take away a lot of his...
That's the other thing he wanted, was to stop you from your bishop from aiming at that line so you could castle, but nobody gives a shit. I mean, he does. You do, but...
Okay.
Again, we're winning this game by sheer force of will. And so it doesn't matter if we make some concessions, because like if you take a -7 and you make a slightly worse move, then you're at -8. What the fuck is the difference between -7 and -8?
-1.
Who cares? It's -7 or -8. They're all bad, right?
The shiniest of two turds, eh?
Yeah. So at this point, it doesn't matter if you make mistakes. It only matters if
He
you
does.
fuck him in the face.
Doesn't matter.
And I
It's
know
you.
it sounds random and meaningless.
No, I fully. It makes sense to
so-
me.
On the vein of fucking him in the face, how do you control the game in order to try to do that? Look for your targets and try to figure out like what would be a good thing to like interact with. I want 3 answers.
3 answers on how to
Yep.
take control of this game.
3 answers of things to interact with. I'm gonna get a beer while you think about it. Alright. What are some targets?
The knight on A7.
Good.
The knight on F3 or the pawn on H2.
Okay. The only one of those I'm not a huge fan of is the pawn on H2, because we don't have a queen. So even if we were to magically win that pawn on H2, he just wouldn't care. The only way that the pawn on H2 is really useful is if you can play queen takes F2 or H2, but we don't have a queen. So
Well,
the H2,
so hear me out.
uh-huh.
This is hope chess. I don't plan on making this, but this is why I considered
perfect.
it. If I got here, and then took that knight again here, he would not.
I'm on a delay to see your arrows.
Okay. If I were to do that, wait, aren't you spectating?
Yes, but I can't see your arrows. Those are personal,
Okay.
except in the study. So, yes, and then you removed his knight, you would win that pawn. So what?
Not much.
Yeah, Like, it's a great amount of pressure if you're like really flustered to find anything to do, and the position is fairly close to equal. That'd be a great idea. But here, we're not equal. We need to really do something, and winning a pawn isn't going to be big enough.
Sure. So my thoughts, my plan, my best conceived strategy during your beer break was rook to or castle to a8.
Rook a8 is correct, not castle.
Rook a8.
Castle is just what you do with your king and rook. Rook is the rook.
Okay. So rook to
yeah,
a8.
Rook a8 is my favorite move here. Yeah, it interacts with the knight and the queen, who's the second target that I was looking for.
Yeah. Okay.
And then bishop takes f3 as a move to keep on the list if you want to open his king up and trade away. But I don't really want to trade away yet.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go for it.
Okay. So now if his queen moves, you win the knight. If his knight moves, you win the queen. If neither one moves, then you can try to bully the knight and maybe win it later.
Okay. And so my thought was if he like just kind of didn't do anything with that for whatever reason, then the next move would be oh god, I don't even know.
I think it would be summon a large PP.
I think summoning a large PP would be something like the other rook to c8 and then bishop to e6.
There's a weird giant PP idea that I'm looking at, but it doesn't.
Dude, I just saw this guy in chat. Holy shit. He's the guy I'm playing against while you were on beer break, and I was thinking. He said, "Play or I'll report you." I was just gonna.
That report would do no good because you're clearly thinking, and this is your clock that you get to do what the fuck you want with. Literally, if you want to spend 20 minutes doing nothing, that's your clock. He signed up for this 30-minute game, so that's his decision. Don't feel bad for taking your time.
Yeah, no, I know, but I just want to bully him in chat now for being a fucking.
I know. So,
okay.
He's trying to bully you with his pawn.
Yep.
How do you feel about being bullied?
I'm anti-bullying. When it happens to me, but when I'm the bully, I have a strong affinity for it.
Yeah. There's a couple choices, not too many, but
what are the good choices?
I'm not telling you. This is your game, not mine.
Well, fuck
I don't
me.
want any responsibility for what happens when you lose.
Sorry, give me 1 second. He's talking to me in chat.
You gotta share it on screen better. No, I'm just kidding.
He said, "Our player I'll report," and I just said LOL. And he said, "What's LOL for?" And I just said, threatening to report me for thinking during classical chess.
Misspelling.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't. Thinking.
Okay, so
I
will say one thing about the chat. People will try to distract you with chat when they think they're losing. This is not that case, obviously. He's just bored and pissy, and you actually want to trigger him. And so, however you do that, like, that's actually not a bad thing.
Okay.
But psychologically, be aware that people will be like trying to get you to focus on chat instead of focusing on the game.
Okay.
When they're afraid. That's not what's happening here. But.
Okay. Good to know. Let's see. How do I respond to this bullying? Because I can't afford to lose that.
So, let's think about it this way. When I look for candidate moves, I try to candidate moves meaning like considerations, right? I try to come up with the most simple idea, and then a different version of something like that, and then an extreme idea. So, what's a simple way to save the bishop?
D6.
Yeah, bishop d6. Okay, what's a different way to save the bishop?
D7 or E7.
Right, and it doesn't seem much better, but okay,
Yeah.
let's consider. Okay, and then what's an extreme way to deal with this? Instead of saving the bishop, what else could we try to do?
Take the knight on A7.
Okay, but then it's going to take our rook.
Extreme way to do it.
So
Oh
not
wait,
even to deal
pawn
with
to,
the bishop.
pawn to
just
B5.
So you follow through with that knight on A7. Yes. Okay, sorry, I missed what you were saying. Yes, B5 would attack the knight on A7 and wait.
Sorry, really quick. I don't know how to pronounce the first name. And Inurda? Honorud Dark. Thank you for coming. Thank you for the laughy emoji. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Welcome. As you were saying.
Yep. So yeah, B5 is a nice extreme example of, I attack the queen and his knight with my bishop.
Yep.
So yeah, that's an extreme answer. So now we look at which one we like. We calculate a little bit about each, and then we decide which one's our favorite. And by our, I mean yours.
I honestly, now that I see it, I think B5 might be good, because if he takes with queen, then fine, I guess. Actually, I may not like that. He's offering me a draw.
You can take it if you want. I think if you care about rating, you would take the draw here because you're going to lose. But if you care about crushing this guy and making his PP feel small, then don't take it.
I'm gonna not take it because I think he's offering it because I'm taking a long time to think, and that just makes him more mad.
Yep. Exactly. Okay, so B5, queen takes B5. Then what would you do?
So queen takes B5. Then see, that's where I'm kind of at a loss. Is like, fuck.
Well, what was the plan? We're moving the B pawn to get the bishop open to take the knight, right?
Bishop open to take the knight?
When you move the B pawn, the bishop is aiming at his knight.
Oh, true. Oh, that's
Okay.
perfect.
So the problem is that the queen is then aiming at your light squared bishop.
Yep.
And so you're never actually coming out of that ahead.
Okay.
It's a pretty exciting move,
But it's
don't
not effective.
don't overvalue the exciting move just because it's more interesting than the boring move.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go to D6 then.
Perfect. I had a lot of fun calculating B5. But yeah, no, it's not good.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of fun is overstating it. I was like, oh my god!
You were just orgasming over the idea of B5. Interesting.
No, you.
Drumstock said, "Hey, would you like a game?" After I'm playing this one through with my coach, but I'll play you after this, if you're willing to wait a little while, Drumstock.
So, same thing before. Come up with a pretty decent square for the bishop, and then come up with the different square for the bishop, and maybe does a little bit more or something, and then come up with an exciting fun move.
I mean, simple, I think, would be C7.
Yep. It's the most boring, simple move. Good.
The different approach could be something like F4, just to kind of get him further up on the board.
Okay.
Because he's not really protecting anything other than the dark square castle, or the dark square rook right now.
Yep.
So that would just be activating, but I don't love that idea. It's just a different. And then the radical move would be.
So, what is it that you've wanted to do for a while?
Force the decision on the or take the knight, I guess.
Right. So how do we interact with that? We
Oh
probably
shit!
wanna take
Okay,
it.
we could go B8, and then we're protecting the rook. Correct.
Correct. You're attacking the knight, which means you're protecting the rook if the rook takes. Yeah. You said that really weird, but yeah. Yeah. So bishop c7 seems like a very solid square. Bishop b8 seems like an aggressive move, but very strong. And bishop to f4 is interesting as it controls good squares. Now consider. When I say consider, I don't just say look at which one you think looks the best. I mean, look what happens after you play bishop 8 and see if it is actually the best or if you're just being an idiot.
So if I play bishop b8, I mean, he moved that rook for a reason, so I'm assuming it's to push forward.
Right. there any scary squares that the rook can move to?
Not particularly. I mean, he could go to D8, but I'll take it with my rook. If he goes to D7, then
Right.
that's kind of prickly.
Your knight actually guards D7 though, so you should be fine, right?
I think so.
Okay.
It looks like we're gonna combine our brain power to fight Drumstuck.
Yep. So yeah, I just go bishop e8. You don't need too much overthinking. You are going to lose. Why you declines? Less than XQC. That's true. XQC is a big brain.
I fucking hate XQC as a person, but it sounds like he's pretty decent at chess.
He's not. He's terrible.
You're going to lose. What, you decline draw? What do I say?
I want a big brain. Say that because you have a bigger PP than him.
I think that's a good way to get reported. I mean, I blundered my queen pretty quickly, Drumstuck, so there's a fair reason for him to say that. I didn't blunder her, but I fell into his trap and got my queen taken out.
Got it pinned to the king. But it was all part of our plan. We wanted to queen because it would be too easy otherwise.
XQC as a person equals XQC the chess player. I like it. What rating is he on?
So I think what that means is he's a little bit better than other shitty people.
Drumstuck or XQC?
XQC.
Oh, okay.
Because he's shitty at chess, but he's a little better than other people who are also shitty at chess.
Okay, so if I take with this knight, right now, he'll take with the queen. If I take his knight, he's just gonna take my bishop.
Yeah, you definitely take the rook. It is a silly move. It is good to consider your other moves, but
wait, I take the rook?
Yeah, you get a rook for a knight. The rook's worth 5, knight's worth 3, right?
Yes, but if I were to take
keep in mind you can take knight the next turn after his queen takes back. So okay, I see what you're thinking about. If you take the knight now, it attacks the queen, and she has to move, and if she moves away, then you can take the rook later.
Correct.
And it might even be right. I guess we can think about it. I honestly just didn't want to. I just wanted to take the rook, take the knight. But
if you take with the knight, you have to tell him you're losing. Why did you decline my decline draw?
So if you play takes knight, he'll play queen b5, and then you take the rook. I guess that's better. Yeah, you're too big brain for me. Rook takes knight is better. Okay. Will you be my coach?
What?
You big brained me.
Oh, will I teach you? I've got a couple things I could show you, Tim. I don't know
The only reason this is better is because he has to move the queen, who's guarding the knight. Who's guarding the rook, and so you should actually win the rook for free instead of winning the rook for the knight. So you were going to win a rook for a knight and then win a knight for free, which would have come up a rook. But when he moves his queen, now we're trying to win the rook for free. Now, there's one square where he can move his queen that still guards the rook. But we'll have a nice
B5.
little trick after that to help us continue our attack. And
You're talking about b5, correct?
Correct. So
Or he could theoretically do d1.
it's just a transposition line? No, yeah, D1's the same thing. Yeah, no, it's the same thing.
QB5 protects rook.
QB5
Yeah, that's what we're
protects rook.
saying. He's gonna. That's what we're. Yeah.
There's a trick after knight takes queen takes though. So after queen b5, so it's the same thing though. Like if you think about it this way, if we took the rook, and then we took the knight, then we'd be up a rook because he would have gotten our knight on d7 along the way. But doing it this way, we get the knight for free, and then we take the rook, and then we lose our knight. So it's all the same. But this has a secondary benefit. So we're going to take the rook here.
With the knight?
Yep.
And just let queen take?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting a rook for a knight, so that's always okay.
Okay. You said we were going to try and get the rook for free.
We are getting it for free, though, because now we have the bonus move. Is that we win a piece now. But don't read chat.
Don't read chat.
Correct.
Okay.
I mean, you can read it, but don't read don't read the moves. Then you wrote.
Okay. Alright, I'm waiting for the secret move, Tim. I'm on the edge of my seat here.
Oh, that's your job, not mine.
No!
So figure out the pieces that are lined up and where they're aiming at and what's...
I mean,
Yeah,
my
what's
first
the
thought
other-
is, this is, so, my radical tubular brain is thinking, bishop to, light bishop to f3.
Yeah. And then your rook attacks the queen, so he has to survive his queen, and then your bishop gets to leave that square safe.
Aha!
Yep. So, even though he got the knight back, then we also get his knight at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And now, materially, we're actually ahead.
Hell yeah.
So we've made up for our lost queen. We have a rook and 2 bishops to a queen. They say his brain grew 3 sizes, or no, wait, his pee-pee grew 3 sizes that day.
Okay. So
It's
now,
right French, except with a pee-pee instead of a heart.
so now we need to get the bishop to safety.
Right, so we have to kind of... Oh, he moved his queen, okay. So, yeah, it's just a matter of figuring out where we want to put the bishop. So, again, we come up with our candidates. So, what would be a decent square for the bishop first?
C6.
Sure. What would be another interesting square for the bishop that's maybe different, but not, like, crazy?
I guess G4.
Sure. I'm going to add D5 to that list, because it's also guarded by a pawn. But yeah, those are the 3 that I would come up with as normal moves. So what's a crazy thing we could do instead of trying to move the bishop?
Crazy thing, my first thought, I can't find anything crazy that would be, like, productive.
Yeah, there's no productive answer here, but I just like to look to see if there could be. So, like, rook takes a2. His rook would have to take back, and then his rook's not guarding the back row, so maybe you can do a back rank check.
The drumstick's
Or-
saying bishop a8. Do you think that's a good
Yeah.
move?
Or rook to d8 to attack his queen, and when his queen moves, then your rook gets to shoot off the board. Are these good? No. But, like, I just want to be looking for those crazy ideas, and then realizing that there aren't any good ones, and then moving on. So, is bishop a8 good? Bishop a8 good? Sure. It guards that entire diagonal. I think bishop c6 is pretty good, because it sits on a strong square, but there's tempo with his pawns. Bishop d5, I think, is not great because of c4, but I think it's a strong square ideally, and so in an idealistic world, I would love to play that. That'd be my first instinct. Bishop g5 aims the wrong direction. It doesn't really help us in that direction. We kind of like it kind of aiming towards the king over here.
Yeah.
And so, to me, it's either bishop c6 or bishop b7 or bishop a8. bishop c6, I'm not particularly afraid of pawn b5 because I think he's over pushing. So I'd probably go bishop c6, but Drumstuck has a clear point of bishop a8. It doesn't matter if the bishop is aiming, that direction. As long as she's aiming towards the king, it doesn't matter if she's also aiming towards, a4.
Well, so here's another proposal. If I were to go bishop d5, then I'm threatening his pawn on a2.
Right. So you're living in a fantasy world there, then, because we know that if you go bishop d5, he's going to push his c pawn to attack your bishop.
That's okay.
Right, and we suggested that as a possibility for bishop d5. Otherwise, bishop d5 would be great.
Okay. b8. He's saying b8 or bishop a8 is the high level move to him.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that's in any way wrong. I'm not getting in depth on the difference between bishop c6 or bishop a8 right now, so it's up to you to decide what your thought on the process is.
I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go c6.
Okay.
Just because of the added maneuverability.
Yeah. So I think it's 50-50, now that you've made the move. Okay, so if bishop a8, you're blocking the ability for your f rook to go to a8 and double up on that file and make the strong rook entry. The problem with bishop c6 is he does have a way of interacting with your bishop by pushing his b pawn to b5. But in my opinion, I think that's actually a bad move for him. I think if he pushes pawn to b5, he's causing himself long-term problems. I don't know if that's true, but that's my instinct there. And then you'll just play bishop a8 or b7 after that.
Okay.
So
he's setting up for a drill here, like the other game, kind of.
Yep, it's not that big of a deal as long as you don't do something stupid.
Sure.
But again, let's come up with some decent moves. So he didn't go b5 to attack your bishop, so you get a chance to kind of do what you feel like.
Yep.
What are you feeling?
So
A Drumstuck. After b5, I want to encourage him to do that push though, Drum. I don't know why. Can't give a specific reason.
b5.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay. Now my first idea that I see is kind of a wild one.
Okay.
And it's rook to d7.
Good, and that's one of the best wild-ish moves. Not super wild, but interesting, right? It's not a simple move. So I usually like to come up with a more basic developing move first, but this is balance between whether it's just developing or improving your pieces and crazy attacks. It's not really a crazy attack, it's just putting your rook on a better square, right? Okay, so rook d7 is one idea. What else?
I mean, rook to a2 as well. Just winning a pawn there, but I'm just kind of allowing him to do his drill.
But who cares, right? His queen comes to d8 and you just don't take it, then you're fine.
So that's another move, and then I'm just trying to think of ways to prevent this drill from going down. And I mean, those are the two best options I see. I could do something like,
right. So
bishop
both of those are good moves. But what's the last kind of decent developing move?
Developing move would be like a dark square bishop to e5.
Right. So that should be on our list of moves that we're considering. So bishop e5 is definitely a decent move to get a bishop. Rook takes a2 wins a pawn. Rook d7 attacks the queen, and when she moves, maybe we want to trade rooks, maybe we make our battery right. It's just decent control of the center. All three decent candidates. Figure out what you like the best.
kind of like rook to a2 because, like you said, if he goes d8, then just don't take and I'm fine. But I'm not fine because he could take the bishop. But I like that it's getting me closer to the king. Yeah, so if he went d8, he could take my b8 bishop without any consequence. Theoretically. I mean, I could punish him then by taking it with the rook. I don't think he'd go for that.
When is your bishop on b8 dying? I'm kind of looking at too many things at once.
Okay, so let's say that I go rook to a2, right?
Yeah.
I like that because I win a pawn. I like that because I'm starting to not directly put pressure on the king, but I'm in his vicinity now, and he has to keep that.
Yeah.
That.
So okay. So after rook takes a2, what are you saying he would play?
Theoretically d8, but
okay.
he wouldn't.
And then so he's attacking what there?
My bishop.
Is he? Your rook's
Or
guarding
my rook.
bishop.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's not
King's
attacking
guarding
anything.
Yeah. So I'm not afraid of queen d8. As long as you don't make the silly move rook takes queen, it's not that big of a deal. Okay. But then the real question is, where else can his queen go? And Drumstuck shows the answer. If you play rook takes a2, where could the queen go?
c4.
c4, which attacks both your rook on a2 and the bishop on c6. And is it the worst case scenario? No. There's a lot of little things to that position, like bishop d5 after that, which is interesting. And if rook takes, then you have some mating threats, and kind of it's a little bit back and forth.
Okay,
But,
so here's my idea. I'll let you continue, actually.
No, but it's definitely an interesting calculation there. I would rather do simple, particularly because we're down to 3 minutes and 20 seconds,
Okay.
instead of playing the risky rook takes a2.
Okay, so simple is going to be bishop to...
Honestly, I think rook d2 is the simplest move. Or rook d7, I mean.
7. Okay.
I want to look at that line that Drumstuck's talking about. Rook takes a2, queen c4, bishop d5, rook takes b, d takes rook. Why aren't you playing rook a1 after rook takes d5, Drumstuck? Because if rook takes d5, rook a1 check, queen f1, rook takes queen, king takes pawn takes rook. Right, okay. We're on the same page. But yeah, I think rook takes a2 is a fine move. It's a lot of calculation, and it's a little riskier than maybe we should be playing in this position.
So
Especially because I think we're ahead. So, in the interest of time, you have two choices: rook takes rook or rook d8.
Rook takes rook just seems like a loss to me. I mean, it's a trade, so I guess not.
Okay.
D8.
And rook d8.
I kind of like that more.
Okay, do it. Oh, I misunderstood. Other rook to d8.
Oh shit. Okay.
It's okay. This is fine. It's not bad. But the
It's
idea
very
of rook
passive.
f to d8 is we're trying to push our rooks in, and if he wants to take us, then our other rook will take back, and we'll still have the rook.
Okay.
So, in my mind, the rooks are trading no matter what happens, right? And so we're looking for the way that they trade in the way that's good for us.
I'm moving that up, and then I'm going to move him back. I'm going to move the other rook
Never,
to d8.
ever try to undo a mistake. So the fact that rook d8 was not what we meant to play does not mean that rook d7 is the best move in this turn.
Will Wolf,
So-
thanks for joining. Thanks for following.
Here, rook takes rook would have been better.
Fuck.
Right. Because we've given up control by playing rook d8 in the first place. We want to take back control by being aggressive.
Hey, I also
No,
misclicked.
I might, yeah, that's
Just
fine.
for the
That's fine.
record.
I might not have played rook takes rook in this case. Like, there's plenty of good moves here, but we are under time pressure, so we're just gonna kind of play like, I don't know, decent fast moves. I don't see the will follow in the chat.
Yeah, my chat doesn't always show up for whatever reason, but I got a notification.
Hey, Wolf. Sup, Wolf?
Drum, I misclicked. I just made a dumb move.
Yeah, it's not a scary move from him. So honestly, I'd make the battery right now, but you can
So
come up with decent
Rook to f8.
Or f to d8.
Yeah, d8. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah. So we have 3 minutes, but we get 20 seconds per move.
Yep.
So just as far as time management goes, each turn should take approximately 30 seconds from this point on. So as far as coming up with our candidate moves, we don't get to really get in depth of making sure we have 3, but make sure that you're not just playing the first thing that you see, and you're making sure that there's like you spend like 3 or 4 seconds seeing what he did. So he moved his rook there. Did he threaten something? No. Perfect. It's as simple as that. So 2, I want to play rook d8. Does he have a really good move to answer it?
Okay, so here he's not threatening anything.
Yep.
I could... One of my thoughts is to move... No, that doesn't work. I mean, I don't see anything. Do I go for the push?
Push what?
My d7 rook to d1.
Not the d1, no, that's not safe. He has 2 attacks there. d2, yes, but if you want to go to d1, you need the bishop to help first.
Okay, so I'm gonna go d2.
He wants to lose. Crush him. Drumstuck is 100% right. Like, this guy is just
Choking.
kind of curling up and just letting you murder him. So bishop a4 would have helped rook d1, which was a decent idea. But I really like rook d2 because it attacks the queen, it pressures key squares, it's like forcing him to respond, taking control of this move.
So I was also
Plus
thinking, what if I went on to b5?
I like that as a move if we're being patient.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree, Drum. I like that as a move if we're being patient, but I don't know. I kind of just want to take control right now. b5 doesn't really do anything other than freeze his queenside pawns. It freezes the c pawn and the b pawn, but it doesn't do anything on its own.
Does bishop g3 still work?
Bishop g3, well, it depends on what he does, right? But the reason bishop g3 was good there is he can't keep his rook on the e-file. So now, if we play bishop g3, he can move his rook up to somewhere. I don't think there's a good square to move it up to, so maybe. You gotta think about what he did.
I mean, he's only threatening the pawn.
Yes, bishop g3 just wins.
Bishop g3 just wins.
Yeah. It's not 100%, but it's damn close.
Okay, so I'm gonna go for it.
So yeah, you're mentioning that he's attacking b6. I don't care. We're gonna be more aggressive than a pawn by attacking his rook, and I just I want to checkmate him, and I usually am fairly balanced with that like desire to go for checkmate because going all out for checkmate is usually suicidal, and if your opponent defends it correctly, then you will just lose. But we have a lot of pressure here with 2 rooks and 2 bishops attacking near his king with only 1 guard right now, his rook, and some pawns. So we're really going to overpower him. We just need to figure out how our pieces get in correctly. So his only move here is rook f1. Anything else, we have forced checkmate. That's incorrect. We could win a queen instead of forced checkmate, sorry.
And if we goes f1, do we... Interesting.
So after rook f1, we have choices. I don't quite see the super winning move at that point, but I'm pretty confident that there's a few good moves.
Rook to a8, I think, I'm not sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, that makes sense to me, and his queen can't come back quick enough to handle it.
She takes b6 though, and I don't know how you finish that. So the reason I'm not scared of about queen takes b6 is your rook guards d8, your d7, your d2 rook guards d8, and your bishop guards b8. So his queen on b6 does not have a checkmate to it. So what I'm looking for is a way for your rooks to both be on the second row without him just going queen a8 or queen b8 or queen c8 check.
And so I was wondering, what about moving my moving pawn to g6?
Sure.
To get
That
my king
would be the
mobility.
move. Okay, so on your own in this exact position, g6 would be the most normal, strong move that you can play because it takes away risk. But in this position, we have absolutely crushing opportunities, and I think rook a8 just wins the game all out, and there's not much you can do about it.
Okay, so
But I'm still looking at calculations, so it's I could be missing something. That's all.
we're looking at rook to a8.
So after rook a8, if he takes your b pawn, then you get to go rook a to a2 and have a battery, 2 rooks attacking on the second row together, and it'd be really difficult for him to defend against that.
So I'm going rook a8.
That's my opinion.
Okay. That's your judgment.
That's the dumbest thing you've ever done. Trusting my judgment. Also, while I was being sarcastic there, do you know what a rook is?
Oh, fuck. God damn it, dude.
It's okay. You had to move bishop a6 in mind earlier when we were talking about the... Sorry, bishop a8 in mind earlier when we were talking about moving the bishop there. And so when you heard a8, you were thinking bishop. So, yeah. But it's not that bad. Like, your rook guards it. And so now we just play rook... I guess...
God damn it. Oh, fuck.
Kind of that bad. So your rooks are guarding each other, so we have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
His queen's guarding the d8 rook, or attacking the d8 rook, so you don't really want to lose that rook, so that'll be bad.
For take back? I don't think he's gonna give it to me. This guy's salty. Also, only got a minute 40.
I guess, yeah, I guess I would just move the d rook off that row to c8 or something? I don't know, I'm not sure.
Wait. Take the rook off that row?
Your d8 rook is under attack from his queen,
Yeah, okay.
and your d2 rook doesn't want to be babysitting the d8 rook, so I'd probably go rook c8. Drumstuck says rook d1, which isn't a bad idea, but...
Okay, rook d1? I'm gonna go for
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for it.
I like it. Wait, he said never mind, but I still think it's good. I don't see why it doesn't work. Because the bishop guards b8, rook's always guarding d8. There's never a risk. If he plays queen takes rook, you play rook takes back. So it's hope chess, because he doesn't have to take your rook. But if he doesn't, you're still kind of controlling the flow. We just don't have enough to win it, and that's the problem here, is that you're still playing two bishops and a rook versus a queen at the end.
Sure.
And we were trying to win the game before we ever had to deal with that. And so that's why I kind of like rook to c8 to try to get that rook in the game, but it's so slow because his queen is being a real douchebag. And we're trying to just find a way to deal with the freaking queen. But yeah, this has a little bit more...
You're saying rook takes c8?
Rook to c8. Rook moving over to c8. So he just guarded his rook with his queen.
Okay.
You can win his rook for your bishop. Okay, no you can't. Never mind, just kidding.
Slay him, take his head off? How do I do so?
Probably just wait. But by wait, I mean like move your bishop from a8 to somewhere.
To
where?
I'm gonna move him to. Fuck. Yeah, I can't move him anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm gonna move my pawn to g6.
Sure, go ahead. So here's the thing: we're not in a hurry in this position because he's not really threatening to do anything. Yeah. We can always trade rooks whenever we feel like it. I kind of like bishop d5, it just doesn't feel good enough.
Bishop to b7, maybe not.
Bishop b7, queen takes b7, I don't think we have enough there. I'd like the bishop to be on like d3 after, like, or like, I don't know. I want to go bishop takes f3, obviously it's not good. Can we play, no. I mean, g6 is always solid here, it might even be the best move.
Okay, so now he's threatening again.
Aiming at, not threatening.
Aiming at.
Now I would trade rooks, I think.
So now I take my D1
Wait.
rook and
Yeah, go ahead.
take his F1 rook.
I'd say so, yeah.
Wait, then he's gonna take my D1 rook. Or my D8 rook.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, wait.
I'm waiting.
We're gonna play a little hope chess. We're gonna bring our D1 rook back one square to D2. So, okay, here's my argument. We want to not trade the rooks because playing this endgame with a rook and 2 bishops versus the queen is going to be too tricky. But we have a lot of pressure here, so I just want to kind of calm down his pressure and then go for the rooks on the second row. So the point that I'm making is that if we can get both of our rooks to the second row, we'll just win this game. So we just have to make sure we don't miss out on what his queen's attacking on any turn, and then we'll be fine. So if he attacked our bishop.
Okay.
Oh shit, we had bishop h2 last turn. Anyway, so, like, move the bishop out of danger. We're gonna just keep it as simple as we can. Move the bishop out of danger. Sure. Now, next step is to get our rooks both to the second row.
The second row meaning...
Row rank 2.
Okay, so we want to move, like...
Our D2 rook is in the way of our D8 rook, so I'd probably go rook takes A2.
Takes A2.
Now he just... Okay, so he just attacked our rook.
Yep.
So...
D1?
Pin his rook to his king with your bishop.
That's bishop to G3?
Yes. No.
You said yes, fuck.
That's not a pin. That's not a pin. That doesn't interact with his king in any way. His queen can take that. But it's bishop a7 attacks the rook and king. So after his queen takes,
okay.
Now we want to avoid rook trades because we're now behind again.
Okay.
So we want to control the game. So when his queen takes, what can we do to control?
This queen didn't take.
Yeah, that's a good move from him. You have to play rook takes rook. You don't really have another choice. So you traded first, and then he... Oh, wait, I didn't see that. Okay, I'm bad. Ignore me. Bishop d5 here. We're very done. Drumstuck is right. 2 bishops versus a queen can't really handle this.
Do I resign? I think I might resign.
No. King f8, let's go.
King f8.
King e7 next turn. Unless he, threatens a bishop. Don't ignore his move. So this is a very resignable position if you just don't want to play this position anymore. But I've drawn worse. King e7. Next turn, king d6 or 7. Doesn't really matter. No, it does, because he's going to go c4 either way. I don't know. Okay, king over. Okay, he's going to push the b pawn. You're going to go king... Oh. I was going to give you the wrong answer anyway. King over. Continue attacking the pawn. Good. King in front of the pawn. So what we're doing here, we're not trying to win again, because we're behind again, right?
Yep.
We're trying to make his job hard.
Okay.
If he plays correctly, he'll win, but we're just trying to be, annoying for a few turns. It didn't take us a lot of effort or time, we just moved our king over, right? This is a good move. So, maybe try to put your dark squared bishop on a better square.
Better square being...
I don't know, e5? f4? I don't know, it seems like it's on a good square for attack purposes, but you're going to need the bishop to help out to not die. So, Here we're going to go to c3 and then take on a5 maybe in some future. So he attacked your light square bishop. So maybe use the light square bishop to run away. We're dead. We're dead. We're dead. Bishop d4 check.
Bishop d4 check.
Yeah. No particular reason. But our light squared bishop was pinned to the dark squared bishop. So if we move the light squared bishop, he was going to take the dark squared bishop. So now he can't do that, right?
Yeah.
But we're about to lose our light squared bishop no matter what. Unless he doesn't see it. So we're going to play bishop c6. And then after his next move, we're just going to cry ourselves to sleep.
Bishop c6.
He's going to play pawn a6, and we're going to be set. Yep. And that's it. So now I would either resign or just crazily push your H, F, G, H, E, F, G, H pawns and just try for some stupid stalemates.
Resign.
Sure. Yeah.
That was so stressful.
Sure. I guess the main thing I would say about this, so head to the study Wyze bud. Are you in the study?
I'm creating it as a study.
No, don't create it. Just go to the study that already exists. It's called Wyze bud. So click Learn Study, studies I contribute to.
Studies it.
Sure. Going a roundabout way, but...
I don't know if I contribute to them, but...
Okay, now you're here. Yeah, you are a contributor of Wyze bud. Okay. So, I've already pulled the game from here. So, Queen d7, mouse slip, got it. So, nice little tactic from white here. And our queen to the king. So from this point on in the game, nothing matters. We're living on borrowed time, right? So it doesn't matter if we blunder, it doesn't matter if we make good moves or bad moves, we're just playing, right?
Yep.
And then here we win the knight. Kind of curious. Knight takes d7 is noticeably better. Why is this? Because bishop takes f3 attacks the queen. I still don't see it.
I wish I wouldn't have fucking panicked.
I'm not sure entirely why. Oh, I get it. Because he can sack the queen in this position and be a little less bad off because he gets this bishop. So move after rook d7. If we should take the rook because he can't sack his queen for our rook. The reason he's okay with sacking the queen for the rook is because he's up a queen. So if he sacks the queen for a rook, he's still up a rook. Kind of a little inaccurate because we're winning a rook either way. Or we're winning a piece either way, right?
Sure.
But if in this line knight takes, queen takes, rook takes, we still have all those same threats as before. And we still have that same material, rook, bishop, bishop, rook, versus rook, queen, knight. And if the bishop and knight trade, then it's the same as we just had. So it's basically the same line, except he doesn't have as many options. So yeah, this kind of is a good position for us. We're slightly winning here. The move rook d8 is the one I was saying here. Rook f d8 I didn't specify is the one I was saying here, but computer actually does not like this move. As far as just like making quick progress, I like this move, but I can see why it's not as good as just moving the bishop forward or something. Yeah, don't come back. This is silly.
Yeah, it was a misclick.
Sure, yeah. And then from here on, we're now just winning. Like rook d2, we have control of the game. It's probably true that bishop g3 is slightly better here, but and you mentioned b5. Look at that. That's the computer's going to here. But as far as just taking control of this game, the moves bishop g3 and rook d2 are unrivaled. They're just better. Queen a6, I don't care. Bishop moves great. And then here, rook a8 is correct.
And what is this where I blundered?
Wow, minus 11. Yeah, this is where you played bishop a8. So let me walk you through two things. One, if this was your own game, you were going to play g6 in this position, and you would have been just fine. The key, though, is that we can't freak out. We can't over-dramatize things, and we can't be like, oh my god, I'm losing because this queen is still so strong. We need to realize we're actually still noticeably ahead in this position. And that's where the objectivity is hard, because, you know, he has a queen. We have to realize, though, that we have 4 pieces versus just 2. So we have more board presence than him, even though he has a fucking queen, right? So, if you play g6 in this position and he plays queen takes pawn, then we just continue just like trying to improve our pieces a little bit. We put our bishop on a better square, maybe a4 so we can go rook d1. Or maybe even a8, that's fine, right? And so like in your own game in this position, we're totally fine. Like it's not that big of a deal to not see this move. However, this move is crushing. The reason this move is crushing is because his queen giving way to the plan of rook takes a2 means that you have a winning line on the second rank. In other words, if the queen retreats, rook takes, and let's say he just moves like pawn forward, or queen takes bishop, then we have checkmate.
Jesus. That's badass.
2 rooks on the 2nd or 7th row, depending on which color you are just god tier. God tier. They're unrivaled. You could have 6 queens, and I couldn't care. Okay, that's exaggerated, but you know, 2 rooks just insane.
Give me 15 seconds.
Yep.
You're getting guides mostly from the coach, and it's not the same thing. You handled the time pressure, you had a lot to process, all of the explained stuff, and you had to play moves on your own. It's a lot to take care of, and it's very hard.
Yep.
I appreciate it. Man, I don't do well under pressure in this. I do well under pressure in a lot of things in my life, but I don't do well under pressure in chess.
Drumstock makes a good point, which is the move bishop a8 that you played.
Thank you for the kind words, that Drumstock.
You're playing this move because you think it's what I'm telling you to play, which means that you're changing from a mechanic of trying to figure out what to do to trying to understand what I'm trying to say. And I wasn't being direct. I wasn't being super direct on the moves. So like that's part of why you played rook d8 earlier. But you when you were playing particularly late middle game, you were playing almost everything. I was just pushing you in certain directions. But almost all of this was your ideas up until here, and you were definitely finding good control. The key though is one of the things that I was doing is I was giving you a feeling of comfort and security that I see you clearly don't have a lot of the time when you're playing your games. You're a lot of the time afraid that you're going to screw up, but when I'm next to you and helping you out, you're less afraid of that. Then in the end game, it became a problem again, and you were afraid of it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think you played great when you were less worried about screwing up.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest.
Well, and it would have if we hadn't squandered the first 20 minutes of the game early on, and this is my bad, not yours, then those last couple moves wouldn't have been under such pressure, but we had like 3 minutes on the clock or something.
That's true. That's in no way abnormal to what happens in my lessons, though. When I'm teaching my students that naturally take like 6 minutes in a 15-minute game, will get through like a third of the game in 13 minutes and have to play the rest of the game in 2 minutes, because I'm trying to help them understand how to to think and what to think about. But yeah. So this is the only real blunder, though. Bishop a8 wasn't a big mistake. It missed out on this super strong opportunity, but it's still a fine move, right? Like as far as good moves go, we're actually okay here. the only real blunder was this, and this was the freak out. This is where you're like, bishop to attack the rook. I only have 30 seconds. Bishop here, that attacks the rook. Yes, it's not safe. So what is the move here?
A7.
Why?
Because obviously my rooks are still protected by each other, so the queen can't move, and I'm still threatening his rook.
And what's behind the rook?
The king.
Yeah. So with bishop a7, you just win this flat out.
Yeah.
His rook is pinned to the king. He can't stop you from playing bishop takes rook next turn. So he could play queen takes, right? But then you're just going to take the queen, and he can't take back with the rook. He could move his king, but then you're just going to take the rook. He could try to guard the rook, but then again, you're just going to take the rook, and it's still check. So pretty much in all of these lines, he's just kind of falling apart after this move. And the reason is just this tactical pattern. This is why tactics puzzles are so helpful. Is in this position, you see the king and rook on the same line, and this move is 100% instantaneous. This move literally takes less than a quarter second to be 100% sure you've already won the game. If you've done enough tactics puzzles, right? But if you haven't done as many tactics puzzles, then you have to look at this move, 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 like, and try to figure out what works. Because this move isn't inherently the obvious move if you don't know this pattern instantly. I'm confused. Is that you under Broken Arrow?
Broken Arrow sent me a game challenge.
Oh, Wolf is Broken Arrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Drumstuck. Unless Wolf is also Drumstuck. Dun dun dun. But yeah, so if we play bishop a7, this game is just over. Now, alternatively, so this is one of those moves where you're freaking out because of the clock and trying to understand what I mean. If you were playing this position, even with the fact that you're freaking out because of the clock, you probably would have played a move like rook takes rook, or rook check. And these would have both been fine moves, not as dominating and winning as this move. But that is where Drumstuck is 100% right, is that you're kind of freaking out a little bit and trying to understand both what to play and what I want you to play at the same time, and it makes it way harder. If you were playing on your own here, you have a good chance of winning, even in this position with this clock. So.
Well, thank you for the consolation prize. Yeah, sorry, we got wrapped up. Drum, you still want to play me and my sensei? My senpai? Can I call you senpai too? I'll call you senpai.
You mean your student, right?
What's the...
Coach Wyze?
Coach Wyze?
Man, I really want to have you like as an assistant coach one day, so I can be like, alright guys, this is Coach Wyze. He's gonna help you with...
They'll be like, wow, how wise is he? And they'll be like, not very. He even misspelled the word wise. He spells it all fucked up. No one's quite sure what's wrong with him.
This is Coach Wyze. Now don't get your hopes up. Only Wyze in name.
We'd call him Coach Dumb if it was more fitting. If we were looking for a fitting title. Coach Mediocre.
Is there Drum?
Drum rage quit after I fucking ruined everything. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we'll see if he's...
knows about, so... You can do some tactical puzzles for a few minutes.
Well, if he's not back in another minute or so, we'll play Wolf as a team. If you're okay with that.
I'm scared of Wolf. I don't want to besmirch my own honor.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm the one who's taking the hit, you know what I mean? It's my credibility on the line, so technically, even if we both lose against him, I take the loss because it's on my account, there's no proof of it.
If Rum isn't here, I don't think I'm going to play another game. I'm scared of Wolf. No, I actually really want to watch Opti do Legos.
Opti do streaming?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
He's making a dinosaur. I don't want to troll him, but
Dude, why doesn't Kat stream more often?
She doesn't want to.
She should stream more often.
Social anxiety.
That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, she enjoys hanging out with people sometimes.
Yeah.
But she also really enjoys just chilling.
And I'm sure she enjoys focusing as well.
Yeah. I think when she's in general just kind of like more bored, she enjoys streaming a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But when she's like around more people during her day-to-day life, she doesn't want to stream. She just wants to be by herself.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Well, if she does, or if Drumstuck doesn't get back here, maybe I'll just raid Ozzy, because it's about time for me too.
Time. You're gonna play like 40 more chess games.
No, I am literally like, my brain feels like fucking nacho cheese right now.
What time control did Wolf challenge you to? I'm curious.
30-10.
30-10. Nice long game. Hey Wolf.
Wolf, we'll play soon.
Anything.
But I frankly only was willing to play with Drum because I like Tim and I as a dynamic duo, and also because I agreed to it long before my brain felt as mushy as it does. But I promise I'll run one with you next time I'm streaming. We can do Blitz if you want. Something tells me that does not end well. I'm not good at anything less than 30 minutes of time to think about my decisions. Tim got me to play Bullet, or maybe it was Blitz. I don't know. Either way,
you play Blitz.
You play Blitz, and I've never, ever, ever fucking been so panicked. Yeah, we'll rain check.
Welcome back, Joe.
Drum, if you want to play, we gotta play, but if not, we can play again soon. I would like to play with you, but again, if you don't want to, that's fine, because my brain feels like it's oatmeal right now.
Best kind of brain.
What's that?
It's the best kind of brain.
Oatmeal brain.
I challenged Wolf to a game, but he's too scared, so I get it.
Tell your coach I used to coach Joe. If he needs material, he should contact me. I should send him a lot of stuff. The door's open, Tim.
Sweet.
I think I am gonna call it. Drum, I'll play with you, and I'll play with Tim on my side next time we can arrange it. But like I said, I'm frazzled as all hell right now. So I mean, if you want to play right now, we can play right now. But like I said, otherwise we should just play soon. I do want to play with you, with Tim leaning over my shoulder, breathing heavily. But I'm clearly not very good at chess, and that was so... I was trying to really retain as much as I could, but also even things that, like I said, play with him first. I'm not playing anymore after this round. What I was going to say is, even the things that are so easy for you guys, like when he was saying bishop c5, I had to literally track down c5 and see what color it was on to throw my pieces in the right spot. So a lot of it is just, even if it's not like my like game sense, I would say it's just like further trying to grasp the fundamentals.
So I think your ability to calculate is good, and so the more you play, the more your ability to calculate will show itself and give you confidence and give you comfort in the position.
Yeah, 100%. And it's literally just the time spent. Like, I'm not allocating time to this as much, so I'm losing the very little game sense that I do have.
Me too.
At least you're still teaching all the time. You're constantly at least keeping the basics down. I'll follow you on my chest. Yeah, please do, Drumstuck. I said I'd love to play a good 2v1 with you guys.
Wolf is being a bully.
Are you playing him?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a jerk. Don't tell him I said that.
Well, if you're here, Tim thinks you're a jerk. He said you's a baby back bitch. Do what you will with that information. Hope my internet will survive. Are you Joni Cass? Drumstuck?
Well, why you bully me?
Why you bully me? Alright. Tim, I need you to help me finish filament.
Was it though, Wolf? You think that I would just give you a free queen?
Tim, did
Help you finish filament. You haven't finished filament?
No, I have like 5 puzzles left.
You noob.
Drumstuck, I followed you back. We'll play together next time I'm streaming. I'm not gonna play any more chess tonight though. I'm cooked. Sorry for the miscommunication. You can win that rook.
You can win that rook.
I could, but that game's over and I lost. I blundered like 3 times in a row.
Time. If you're good at time control, then I think you could.
Yeah, I fear you. Once I get this time control stuff down or time travel stuff down, I'll be able to go take that rook.
I made a mistake by playing well.
Yeah.
Yeah. God damn it, Wolf just crushed me. I got ass kicked.
Drum, when you said
forgot
let's
about
play
that.
then and hope my internet survives, I read it as like let's play then, as in then in the future, and hope that your internet will survive that day. But I'm tapped and I didn't mean to mislead you. Sorry about that.
Okay. I'll talk to you later, Mr. Wise Man.
Okay. I'm gonna probably raid Opti. Can you whisper me his screen name or something?
Can I shout it out?
Yeah, just shout it out. That's perfect. Knee slap. Drum, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Alright guys, let's get ready to do a quick raid. Thank you all for joining me this evening. Tim, thank you so much for the help. It's okay, everything is good. Yeah, thanks again, Drum, for the follow and for hanging out. Like I said, I'm just kind of reeling. So we'll play together soon. But in the meantime, let's get ready to raid Opti, which is a good friend of Tim's. And we'll go from there. Oh Jesus, I'm clicking all the wrong things. All the wrong clicks in all the wrong places. Thanks for the stream, guys. It was really fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said, it was really good to have you guys. Alright, let's get ready to raid. Raid channel. Alright guys, we're gonna wrap up the stream here. Thank you all for joining me. Wilf, thanks for the follow. Drum, thanks for the follow. I appreciate you guys. We'll be back playing chess again soon. I might stream some Rogue Company tomorrow. Or I might play something else like Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 or something. So we'll have some fun stuff coming, but we'll play some more chess soon. I'm feeling chess lately, so we'll get it done. But in the meantime, everybody, let's go raid Opti.